Alexa TV presents in 3, 2, 1, Dateline Schools with your host, Terry Harrington.
This week on Dateline Schools, our focus is on community preparedness and how we're teaching our kids to be prepared to handle any type of emergency. And to tell us all about it, my special guest is Officer Brian Mahaffy from the Yale Police Department. And Brian, what are some of the hands-on activities you have with the kids and try to get the message across?
We do a blueprint of the household. And then if it's 2, 3 stories, whatever, what have you. And then we draw exit points, 2, one on each side of the house. And if they're upstairs, how do you get out of the upstairs, and then how you get down to the ground. And a lot of them have no idea. They just never plan for it. And I make them draw it up, and we talk about it. They take it home, and they come back for our next lesson, and mom or dad may have modified it, saying we can't get out that window or whatever, but they come up with a plan how to get out of the house and where to go.
And I imagine, like you said, for a lot of kids, that's not something they probably don't talk about around the dinner table, is it?
You don't think about it until you have to, and sometimes that can be too late, unfortunately. So we want them to know how we're going to get out and where we're going to be when we get out. So mom and dad's not looking for everyone. We all go to a spot.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the program, do the kids generally have created their own kit in their own house for their use?
Jeff Freeland has given me backpacks for every child to use as their kit. Well, I see they're wearing them in school, and then they're asking me, can I wear this as my backpack and then put it in? Yes, as long as it's something dry, a container that anyone in the house can lift and run with, absolutely. So, yeah, they like to come up with their own creative kits.
What kind of response are you getting from the kids?
They love it. They love it. They're always telling me they're changing one of their 10 items in their kit, and they want to tell me about it and ask me if I think it's a good idea. But they want to feel safe. Kids want to feel safe. And one of these programs is they tell me stories. The power went out and we couldn't find a flashlight. We couldn't find candles. Now they can. And if something happens, and it did last winter where they had a power outage, these kids know where to go. They knew where to get their stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing you mentioned, too, earlier this week, you mentioned that you've kind of moved it from the elementary school up to the middle school. Why the change?
I'm in the 5th grade class a lot with the team program, and those kids, I usually do that half the year. The second half of the year, they don't get to see me. And they wanted to see me. I said, you know what, let's try the STEP program with the 5th graders. They loved it. They had as much fun as the 8th graders and the 2nd graders. I've moved it around a little bit. All the age groups like it. It's just something they don't think about. They see the 72-hour signs, and they assume mom and dad is ready for that. They're not always. And when you get the kids involved, that gets them ready. So we've moved it to a couple different grades, and I'm still trying to figure out where the best place is. But right now, everybody loves the program.
We'll be back with more tomorrow. For Dateline Schools, I'm Terry Harrington.